I like that. 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 I like that.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your boy Bobby P with another exciting broadcast of the Victor No More podcast. Thank you for taking out the time to check out this podcast this evening. And look, before I go any further, go ahead and hit the share button because you don't want to miss this broadcast this evening, nor do you want your friends. I think there's going to be some things that'll be brought up this evening because it's going to be a little bit different because this is a roundtable, of course, and once a month we're going to actually bring you a roundtable with individuals, and then more than likely it's going to be individuals that have already went through the process of being transformation contest winners. And it's one thing to know that individuals have won, but one of the questions that I get a lot of times, it never fails, is, okay, well, how are you doing now? And so it's so many compartments as far as that question is concerned. So we tackle those particular issues because outside of the contest, it's just like anybody else on their journey. And of course, I can't do this by myself. So I got a little help from my friends this evening. We have Gwen, aka the Professor, with us this evening. We also have Miss Tiffany Booker to join us in this quest this evening as far as this discussion. And if you can, go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Hello, hello.
All right.
Hey y'all. What's going on?
How y'all doing this evening, ladies?
I'm here, okay? Here. All right. Anybody that done run from work and school and children and life and family and friends and bills, when you're here, you're here. But I'm just glad to be here.
And Tiffany, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm good. Yeah, I know I'm always on the road, moving and shaking, but you know, we got to do our podcast from the car, but we make it happen. This is part of life. This is transparency.
You bring up a legit point. I don't think outside of meeting you in person, every time I done seen you, it's been inside of a car.
Yes. Yes.
And the kids probably at the door like, Mom.
Mama, I'm an adult. I'm hungry. Yeah.
Man, do what you got to do. Well, ladies, I'm so glad that you're here, and we'll also have someone else that'll join us later on in the podcast. But you know, as far as the questions are concerned, I want to start it off for a change this time. I know Professor Gwen, she's going always gonna bring the heavy artillery. I just want to go ahead and get my question out of the way, kind of like warm us up, as far as the discussion is concerned, because I actually have gotten this question here recently. And the question is, in terms of your why, is your why the same as it was at the beginning of your journey versus now that you've had some accomplishments? We've been through, the transformation contest experience. It's been some time now, but has the why changed from the beginning to this place now? Who would like to go ahead and just tackle that question first?
I think I can. I believe my why has remained the same to a certain degree. Life happens, and that's the reality of it. When you have loved ones either having health issues or ourselves having health issues, your why become greater. So I always, mention, like, with me, when I put the why on myself, I tend to not keep going. So of course my why is my children. Everything that I do, they motivate me. Right. So when I see different sickness within the family, it pushes me more. I need to get in greater health, and my health matters is great that's happening right now, because if I knew a lot of the decisions and choices years ago, I sometimes say, would I be in the position, or I have gotten in the position of the weight gain and things like that, if I knew to do better. So they're still my why, but now I feel like I want to go harder. So when I started, it's stronger now. It's like I have to overcome anything and everything. Nothing can stop me right now because they're watching, and I need to make sure that I get it right, go through the obstacles, learn now so that they can have, it a little easier. Because, of course, with life, they're going to have their own, maybe, God forbid, health things or whatever comes up, but they'll know how to address it. They'll know how to overcome it. Right. It'll be a lot easier. Right.
Gwen?
Oh, okay. Well, okay, Tiffany, you better set that foundation, sis. I would have to say, for me, my why in 2003 was to get a guy. That was my why. My why was solely based on trying to be accepted. My why was based on just a feeling of constant rejection from guys or people that I felt were important. And because they did not accept me or what I thought was acceptance, I didn't feel important, or I didn't feel like I had value. Right. So my initial why, like my first why, has completely evolved. And I would have to say it's so funny because Tiffany brought up a really good idea, and it was saying, so right now TLC, of course, is doing this whole My Health Matters, right? And I just looked up the word matter, and to matter means to be of importance or have significance. And I would definitely say now my why is me. It's so interesting. So, and even in the beginning, when I first started this particular journey, so in 2003, it was somebody else. My why was others. In 2019, my why was pain. But now in 2021, my why is me. I want to look at myself and say, Gwen, you matter. You are important to me. You take priority, because I've honestly put everybody else in that place except me. I've given my family, my friends, I've given, I've put a value on other things other than me. So finally now I'm like, yo, you matter. Like it's right. it, and I love how they're now shining a spotlight on that my health matters, because it is important.
Yeah.
If you don't have your health, boo, you dead. You just boom, just gone. So it is a blessing to finally actually be able to say, in this season, my why has evolved past the physical, past what I want others to think of me.
Right.
But it is now actually significant to me. I matter to me.
Yeah, I can identify with that. And my journey, it started long before I came to TLC. So, I can remember going through those phases. Well, I want to get healthy for my family. I'll never forget, a particular moment in 2013 where I was having a serious moment with myself because, see, for me, I, I don't want to get to the end of my life and have to look at the mirror and admit that I was not who I said I was. So I really started turning the introspection from off of other people because it sounds real good for me. And at that time, I wanted to do it for the family. The first grandchild was on the way, and I wanted to be around for them, which I did. But as I began to learn, and as I started really, really going through the process of this journey, and I had stopped, started, because that other stuff wasn't sustainable. I had to get to a place where I looked in the mirror and really saw that the main reason why I should get healthy is for me. And so when I got to that place, that's when things really, really began to change. So when I came back to Total Life Changes at the end of 2019, I had an entirely different focus, a different drive, and it's been sustainable because, and I love what the company is doing right now with this initiative, with this challenge. My health matters. If it don't matter to you, how is it going to matter to somebody else? It's not somebody else's responsibility. So I love the personal ownership component of what we're doing now as a company, because this thing is personal. Because I don't want to be that man at the end of my life, have to look in the mirror and say, Bobby, you was not who you said you were. And I keep that in front of me because because my focus is in the man, with the man in the mirror. Because if I keep the focus there, everybody else is going to benefit. It's automatic. So I just really, really began to focus on me. And I don't know about y'all, but when you focus on you, there's so many levels of you. As to which in one season you may be dealing with this, another season you may be dealing with that, but it's a constant journey of improvement when you turn the mirror on you and turn the focus on you. And I don't think there's anything selfish about that, because when you get straight, then you're able to help everybody else. You're in a position to not only be the help, but also be the example. So yeah, that the why has definitely evolved.
I'm so sorry. I can wholeheartedly agree, and I think that so often it's like when you say yes, and I've been saying that for a little while now since I've started my journey. But it's like when you say yes, it's like and people start to see that you have results, and people start to see that you can do it. It's like you then give other people permission to say yes. It's
Right.
kind of, and it's so interesting because most of the time I promise you, I don't think anybody's watching. But I post something and people go, girl, you did that. Congratulations.
Right.
How do I get help? How do I do the same? And I'm like, wow, you don't even think anyone is listening or watching or paying attention. But when you finally get value, and you go for your why for you, and that's what I was telling, I think, Bobby, I told you this a while back. I put my blinders on when I started this journey. I was just like, I don't care who say what to me, who don't like it, who see me, who don't see me. I'm going. And I did that up until last July. And then in July, I couldn't even see me, which was so weird. And at that point, I lost 60 pounds. So like, it's like when you literally just go for it, you go for your why, and you are so laser focused, can't nobody stop you. You can't even stop you.
No.
I can quit every day. I'm like, I ain't doing this no more. I'm not walking. I'm sick of it. I don't want no jump rope. Don't give me no crunch. The only crunch I want is captains. Okay.
I thought you were going to say the Crunch Bar, but we can do Captain Crunch too, girl.
I'm so sorry. I like sugar, so forgive me. But all I'm saying is, okay, I don't quit every day, but when you are so focused on your why, Bobby, that's it. Boom,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, that focus will allow all the other things that don't matter to fall away. It's not and it could be pure chaos going on around me, and I'm like, okay, that still does not mean that I come off my assignment. I still got a work to do. So
Yeah. You have to get out your own way. Once you get out your own way, and like how you mentioned, you just keep going. My biggest thing was too at a point like, oh my God, what they gonna say, or what, and I just say, just get out there and just put it out there, because you don't know. It's helping me to be consistent, but it's also helping other people indirectly,
Yeah.
and when people come and they're clapping for you, like, oh my God, you just motivated me. I'm like, okay, great, but I needed to make sure I got out my own way, because if you looked at the Tiffany 2 years ago, I wouldn't have did a fraction of what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, once I remove myself, everything else kind of falls into place, and especially when chaos happens, because when chaos used to happen for me, I would fold. That's it. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm an emotional eater. Let me go just keep eating to just kind of get through whatever it is. And now it's like, when we transform completely, like we have, because it's not just hearing you speak. It's not just our bodies. We had to transform our minds, our thought process. And so when you start transforming that, it's like everything else is starting to kind of fall into place. So when things come up, we can overcome them. We can get through them. And we create a community. And this is a great platform, because it's real life. Like, things happen. I do want to quit. I'd be like, I don't want to do this either. Like, I'm tired, especially when we have other things going on. I'd be like, my legs ain't working today. Let me get out here and walk. Okay, I might not do the 5 miles. Let me go do 2 miles.
Every day.
Just to keep going. But girl, I only want to do it.
Yeah, because we'll find every excuse. It's like there are days, and I to be transparent, there are days when I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And so I'll look at the treadmill, and they look back at me, and I look at the treadmill, and it's looking back at me, and it's like, who gonna win this battle?
Okay.
So
okay. Let me explain something to you. So I am actually on. So I just started teaching again, and I'm on the 4th floor. Okay. I think that God, He did a divine intervention in my classroom and where He put me in the building, because I have 2 options. First option is this elevator that's right here. Second option are these steps. My God, today, I have decided, I have literally made a declaration to myself. I'm taking the steps. My knees be angry, but it's a constant reminder. Sis, you got to get out here now. But I think that when you make it up, just like Tiffany stated, and you, like, in your mind, it's a wrap. But if you don't mind, Bobby, so can we segue to a question that I was actually going to ask anyway?
Okay.
Can we segue? Can we?
Let's go.
All right, come on. All right, so the question is, what other weight, what additional weight outside of the weight, what additional weight did you lose in this process?
Well, I can think of a lot, but the first one that is at the top of my list was self-condemnation. I went through a lot of self-guilt because when you go through the realization of the work that it's going to take to get where you need to go, you also come unto the realization of how much you let your own self down. And see, I knew better. And it almost cost me my life. You know, I had brought it up briefly, during a live today, which I never really go in and tell the story. But when I had that emergency gallbladder surgery, when it had to be removed, what I don't talk about, and this is so real. And when it came back to me today, I had a moment because I had to just chew on that for a second. It's nothing worse because the doctors didn't tell me how bad my situation was. They just said, Mr. Patterson, we need to get you into surgery immediately. We need to remove your gallbladder. Okay. I knew something was bad. I knew it was bad enough to the point where I was saying, if I don't make it, I understand why. Because I had neglected myself and I knew I needed to make a change, but because I refused to make the decision, thinking that I still had time. And the reality is that here's how crucial it is. And I hope somebody catch this. I started that tea. I also detox tea in December of 2014. My gallbladder almost exploded in October of 2015. And the only thing I can think about is that I got to the tea in time. So just imagine if I would have waited not another day, another hour before I had started drinking that tea. When they told me that if you would have waited another 15 minutes before getting to the emergency room, you probably would not have made it. Y'all, I knew I was close to death without them even telling me I was close to death. I was given last instructions, and I had peace that if that was going to be my last day, I knew where I was going. But I also had to deal with the reality that I didn't have to have been there if I would have taken action sooner. And so for a while, I carried the guilt of that. That was real to me because I came this close from not only robbing myself of the opportunity to live out my purpose, but also the opportunity to actually help other people. And that's a big cost. So the reality is that I was about to take all this potential to the grave. So going through the process of understanding my journey, I'll never forget the Most High spoke to me in August of 2019. And he said, son, I am about to reset your whole life. So when he said reset, that also meant how I viewed myself. And everything old that was designed to kill me, guess what? It's gone. But that was the first real big weight that I had to get rid of, was that self-condemnation. Because I almost cost my own self my life. And then sometimes we have the audacity to say, well, that's the devil. No, that wasn't the devil. That was me. That was me. And I had to take ownership of that.
Yeah, we're definitely quick to blame something or someone else or find excuses. I can agree with that. Tiffany, what would you say? What weight did you have to let go of?
Okay. It's kind of. Can you guys hear me? Okay, because it's
Yeah.
kind of going in and out.
Yeah.
I think the weight or the heaviness of my silence, which meaning of my voice. I've always been that type of person, very quiet, allowing a lot of what people say. I wouldn't really say back because I wanted to hold on to those friendships or the relationships and things of like that. And everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people I come in contact with, their traumas and the things and the process that they go through, I would just take that on and say, okay, it's okay. They can speak this way to me. It's okay that, and that really was making it harder for me. I was getting more of a depressive state. So with the weight, me finding my voice, me being able to say, I know my worth. I know what I will tolerate. I know what I will no longer deal with was very, very important. And it helped me on this journey. You know, I can have a conversation with someone and say, I'm no longer going to tolerate this. That is no ill or harsh feelings, but you have to go through your process. And once you heal from your traumas, if our paths cross again, then we'll be able to move forward. And I'm no longer going to take that on my shoulders. I'm no longer going to be saying it's okay. They're going through something. It's okay for them to speak to me that way. And I just be silent and I harbor it in. So when I released that weight of my silence of my voice and I became more vocal, I seen more doors open. I seen the weight start to fall off. I was in a better mental state, spiritually, because you have to have trust in God. Because when you allow something like that to happen, you start losing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, wow, I can't just treat her that way no more. Oh, I can't say this that way no more. And people now are like, oh, my God, you just, no, I've been through so much to where this is where I'm at. You know, this is where I'm at because, like how we say, it's not being selfish to put yourself first. I know I want to be here a long time. And I know what causes me to go back into a depressive state, or I can't take on everybody's thoughts and their issues and their problems. I can pray for you. And then I, you know, like I said, I'll be open arms once you go through your process. But I have learned me. I have learned that it's okay to voice your concerns and voice and tell people what you would tolerate and what you won't tolerate.
I love that, Tiff. I love that because it's so interesting. I can certainly, I can echo those sentiments. For me, I know number one, I let go of trying to please people and looking for validation from someone else. Number two, I um, I also let go the need to please people.
Mm.
Um, the first one, which was waiting for validation, I only saw my self worth if someone else saw worth in me.
Mm.
If someone else did not see worth in me, I thought that I had no worth. So a lot of the times, because I was rejected a lot, I mean a lot, um, I would think that I took on a mindset of self hate, depression, really bad anxiety, thinking that people were automatically against me. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Um, so when I started to lose the weight, this go around, it was so interesting. I think I put my blinders on and I put myself in a space where I couldn't hear or see anything else, or hear or see anybody else. I want to say it was a movie that I saw a long time ago. I want to say it was Chariots of Fire, and the guy was so laser focused on the end that he couldn't see or hear anything. And that was me. I literally, it was like I had on like these earplugs and I couldn't even hear half the time myself. That's how I felt. I was out here like, people would say, Gwen, I'd be like, hey, oh, you call me? And I think that ultimately helped me where I decided I'm a laser focus. So I just went here. So I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anybody giving me approval. And then when I got to the end, I was like, I did this without asking permission first.
Come on, man.
So that was number one. Number two, I'm not playing with you, Bobby. Number two, I would have to say, I think pleasing people. As a nice church girl, okay, I tried my best to be a nice church girl. It is very interesting the comments that I've had, especially recently, where now I can fit clothes that I never, ever, ever in my entire life been able to fit. I literally, so now y'all, I'm in the Wonderland. I'm so sorry. So rakaraboshi. So I have never, okay, been able to fit these sizes, okay? Now I'm experimenting with stuff. Yes, my belly might show a little bit. Yes, my baby thigh might be out a little bit. Yes, you might see the back, right? And it's so interesting because before I would be like, oh no, I can't wear that. Oh no, and you know, as a plus size girl, you don't wear certain stuff, especially in church.
Right.
Cover it all. But after a while, when I stopped trying to satisfy other people, and I found power within myself, just like Tiffany said, I realized, number one, I had a voice, and then I realized that voice was needed to give somebody else a voice. I was like, come on, God, what we got to say? But I think that for me, those two, I've been liberated mentally and emotionally from depression and so many other things that were causing me to not see me the way that God sees me.
Mm-hmm.
So once I was actually able to get liberated from that other stuff, I was like, come on, Lord, what we doing today?
Yeah, and right up there, right along with the self-condemnation, the other largest weight that I've gotten rid of, and you'll hear me refer to him as the rescue guy, because I had literally used a part of my personality, because I'm genuinely nice and I genuinely love helping people, but there were times when I took it to the extreme because I was looking for some type of validation, some type of affirmation. And so I would help people that I ain't had no business helping. I wound up befriending folk that I had no business befriending. So I wound up having the wrong type of relationships. And as a result, you know, I would do my own self a disservice, and even them, because there's a responsibility on both sides of the spectrum with that. So when the rescue guy, it no longer exists, I find myself now, and I have to balance it out, because I'm so far from being the rescue guy now that I have to bring balance and bring back some more, caring and sympathy back, because I worked real hard. And once I understood why the rescue guy got developed in the first place, because I had to go deal with some childhood trauma. And once that got dealt with properly, and it's still a process, but it's like you go through a complete 180, like a complete opposite of who you are, who you've been, and transition to who you're supposed to be. And so it's not, and sometimes we hear this statement, well, we have to reinvent ourselves. I don't know if that's necessarily true, or is it now that we're willing to do the work to really get down to who we were created to be from the get-go?
I think it's weird because I think that somebody said you typically kind of just get started. But once you start seeing those results,
yeah,
that was where it shifted for me. Because I don't know if y'all ever tried before to lose weight and you didn't see the results you wanted.
right.
But for me, it was like when I started seeing the results. And like I said, it took me till last July. I went from September 25th to actually the end of June, beginning of July of last year, with blinders on. So by the time I took the blinders off, I was like, oh, 65 pounds, cool. But once I saw,
Right.
I was like, seeing is believing. But I think that also kind of hinders a lot of people because it's like, I've had a lot of people try this process with me, without me, before me, after me. And it's like, well, I didn't see anything. Okay, so let's talk about this. How long did you give it?
Right.
I gave it 4 days. Now, we really going to do this? Are we really going to do this? I'm just saying, it's just so, but for me, it was like, I think I made the decision and then the results came and then it made me make a new decision and then I saw more results. Then another decision. I'm only doing it for another 3 months, another 16 months, and now we here.
Right.
But I think also too, a lot of people, they have to stay away from that scale because the scale, they're looking for that scale to drop, and they subconsciously compare themselves to other people. Oh my God, they lost 15 pounds in this 1 week, but mine's only say 2. That stuff don't work. You have to understand you can stay away from the scale because our products are so amazing. I want that loose inches. And as you're working out, that fat is now toning. A pound is a pound. Pound of fat and a pound of muscle is still a pound, but it looks totally different. So you have to, I always tell people, stay away from the scale because you'll get discouraged. Be consistent. Take it day by day. Take pictures. I go back and I look. And it's not even just about all the weight. I look at my face. I look at how I wasn't smiling. I look at how now stuff is clearing up. I'm looking like, oh, the confidence. It's a whole bunch of everything that comes with it. It's just not the weight. I still have weight to go. I'm trying to get to those 100. 100's call them a name. Call them a name. Call them a name. I'm getting there, but I have to trust my process. But I say, you know what, Tiff? I say you are smiling a lot more than what you were smiling a year ago. That's transformation. You can tell people about your story where you were afraid to tell people. That's transformation. Look, I still got stuff I have to lose and tone. I'm going to share it with y'all. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm a mom of 5. I had an emergency C-section. These are real things that women deal with. Someone can relate to me. I am not having surgery. I'm not going to pop up one day and be like, oh my God, my stomach flat, get my tea. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take you on this journey with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, just transparent. I'm being transparent, y'all.
Womp.
Because the reality is, it don't happen like that. I'm sorry. Somebody out there can relate to me. It don't happen that way. I get tired of looking at little slab and say, you know what?
I relate. Sis.
You know what I'm saying? It takes work. But when people see us being real and they really see us going through the process and say, hey, I want to give up at times, those are the ones that they're like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to do it an extra day. I'm going to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
Right. And I know we got another question to get to, but I do want to add this here. As it relates to the scale equates to a certain type of result. And I want to encourage anybody that's on any type of journey, and especially specifically this one. A lot of times we fail because we have the wrong relationship with results, whether it be our own expectant results or the results of somebody else, because we are looking at what they're doing. Looking at what other people are doing should be a source of inspiration, but not comparison, because you're setting yourself to be robbed of joy once you start comparing your journey versus somebody else's. So I always encourage you, divorce the results, but you need to marry your process. That's the relationship we need to have. Marry the process, divorce the results. The results are going to come by virtue of you being faithful to your process. And as long as you're faithful to your process will be faithful to you. Now, the moment that you decide you want to be unfaithful and then want to go and have this affair with somebody else's results, then the process is obligated to leave you at that particular point. So you need to understand that it is very, very relational as it pertains to your process. Because if we were able to just wish a thing and the next thing you know, we blinked and we got the reward, we would never, ever learn anything. So the process is where the gold is. The process is where you are matured. The process is when you are pruned. That process is when you are shaped and formed. The reward is just that, the reward. But what it makes of you in the process, that's what counts. So marry the process, divorce the results, no matter how long it may take, because it is your journey.
I agree. Yeah, the scale and I are not friends. That's why for most of my journey, I went to Target to weigh in because the scale is a very devious and yeah, I don't like the scale. I don't listen. Me and the scale, I'll be like, it roll the size of me, I roll the size of it. But no, what? So honestly, yeah, I definitely agree, Bobby. For me, it was you change your mind, you change your life. I changed my mind and everything else changed. Mm-hmm. Boom. I was like, I ain't got no other choice. Scale, if you like me or not, boo, I'm coming for you.
Right.
So I know for me, I literally had to change my mind. And I think that is where a lot of the people that I've been talking to are. They're like, oh my gosh, girl, you are doing it. But I don't even know how to get started. Before you even marry the process, you have to accept the challenge. Like you have to literally mentally say, yo, guess what? I'm fat. My body hurts. My knees, my ankles, that back fat right there, you know, them rolls that ain't supposed to be there, them rolls that look like, you know, the little cinnamon roll right under your armpit. Like you gotta let all that go. You gotta, and I mean, I'm not talking about anybody, I'm talking about me. Right. Okay. I think for me, like that is where I started, where I literally said, I have to change my mind. I was in so much pain in both my knees and my back. I lost my sight in my left eye. The doctor was like, yeah, I mean, if you keep going, I mean, you might, the fluid might build up so much, you might lose the sight in the other eye. And then from there, where you going to be? Oh, if you keep going, like the fluid could literally strangle your spinal cord. You could be paralyzed. So, I mean, after a while, I had no other choice. Boom. Change your mind, change your life. So that was just my first question. I think I got one more in here somewhere. Let me get my book because I had to write it down. My other question is, what are some things that you believe that you need to start this process? What are some things that you actually, because a lot of what I'm getting, and this is a great platform, but I think sometimes we kind of forget that a lot of people that are watching have been on a couch the entire pandemic, and they done put on 52 pounds in a year and a half. So the only reason I'm saying that is because I kind of lost sight of that. You know, sometimes being in TLC, you see all these people, yeah, honey, woo, you can do it. We doing it together. But you kind of forget that there's a whole world of people who are still struggling with just making the decision. So I just wanted to know, like, what are some things that you think that you all needed to actually make the decision? Like, where did you start? What was your ground zero?
Go ahead, Tiff.
Wow. What was my ground zero? I think honestly, I didn't realize how much weight I had gained. It was when I was looking at my clothes and I was looking at actual size of the clothes. And I still be in awe at sometimes when I go back and I look at the pictures that I do have. I lost a lot of pictures, in the phone. I didn't take a lot of pictures because I was just not in a good mind state. But it was just really looking in the mirror and saying, what is it that you want? What do you really want? Because getting up and moving at all, it'd be like, no, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So what I would do is I would post little post-its around to encourage me of like what my goals were. I had to begin meditating more because it's going back to that mind. I had to get my mind right because ultimately I wasn't in a good place. It was like, okay, let me just sit down, let me just pick up, eat these cookies or whatever it is. I'll be fine. I'm not really that big. It's okay. I can just go up one more side. I can still fit this, shirt. But then I was realizing, okay, if I keep going this way, am I going to be around later on? Because it's now I'm on high blood pressure medication. I'm on all this other stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard. It's not like you just get it. It was a lot of what I would call failing because I'll be good 1 or 2 days and then I'll stop. I'll be good 1 or 2 more days and I stop. So I said, okay, let me pick one thing that I can start doing. And that was retraining my mind and healing from those traumas. Because those traumas subconsciously was coming to my mind. And it was my traumas that I was holding inside here, my subconscious that was saying, you don't need to get up and walk. You need to go pick up those cookies. You know what? You need to do this. I'm comforting myself because of things that I have yet to heal from. And I'm really big on that because I realize that if we don't heal from the things that we kind of mask or put a Band-Aid over, that stops us from doing a lot of things, especially when it comes to our weight loss journey. Because we continue to find reasons to say it's okay to do this or it's okay not to do this or do that. So that's where I kind of was. I said, let me transform my mind and take steps and don't beat up myself if I didn't, if I wasn't successful today. So it's like, now it's like, okay, I didn't do that hour walk that I wanted to do today. Maybe I only did 20 minutes. I'm not going to beat up myself. I'm going to say, okay, tomorrow, you know what? Let me just add this in and do that. And then I start saying, okay, you know what? I didn't give up. I didn't do what I did, but I didn't beat myself up. I said, you know what? At least you got up and you did that 20 minutes. So it's really shifting your mindset, which helped me on the journey. And that keeps me going on my journey because every day it's something different.
I don't know. I don't know if it was something that I needed versus me realizing this what did it for me. And I say this often. A lot of times people don't change until they get tired. I got tired. I'm talking about tired on top of the tired. Because I got tired of feeling the way that I was feeling, for one. I already have enough to deal with it as far as multiple sclerosis, trigeminal neuralgia, plus also too, which I don't really ever really talk about, and I have an inverted disc. So that's a injury that I had sustained when I was in the Navy. So I got tired of being so tired of not feeling the best that I could feel. I got tired of looking in the mirror and knowing that man that I was looking for was buried up under all those layers. And I'm not just talking about the fat. I got tired of looking at that dude. I got tired of going in the closet and getting the clothes out and looking at them where, my jeans, the waist size, I'm like this, like literally, I was a size 58 in the waist at my worst. I got tired of that, y'all. Those were the initial drivers. That was the initial drive. I got tired of being tired. And the only way that I was going to stop is that I do the complete opposite of what I was doing to make me tired. So that was the initial kick. And I knew what to do initially, but being a part of TLC, it provided a community. And I think that's where I really began to take off, because I wasn't in this thing by myself no more. And I think, and whoever's watching this right now, I think it is important. Your journey is so monumental that you're going to need some help. If it ain't nothing but just being around the people that have similar journeys as you, and we're all fighting the same thing. We might be in different places. We might use a slightly different method, but the bottom line is we're all after that thing, and that thing is wholeness. And I got tired of not feeling whole. So it was really a decision. I heard John le Carre say this in a training one day. I'm sitting there and I'm live, like watching this man. And he said, I just got pissed off. There it is. That is what that really, really ignited me. I got so pissed off at being who I was that I wanted change that bad. I got tired, super tired. People don't change until they get tired. Whatever level of tired that may be for you, I don't know. But for me, I had enough.
You know what I think? I think it's so interesting because Bobby P, I remember we talked about this a while back, and I think Tiffany and I, we even talked about this, where it's like when you have that moment, like that definitive moment, when you, just like Bobby P said, like when you're tired. I think that moment of this, something got to give. Just that, how did I get here? Because one thing I started realizing, Tiffany, the picture thing, I think for probably about 5-6 years, I took all these close-up pictures. Because as a woman, and I don't even know if dudes do this, but as a woman, your pictures be right here.
No.
We mastered those angles, sis.
Honey?
You learn how to master those angles to make you not look as healthier. Because at my highest weight, I done learned those angles where you'll look at me and be like, oh my gosh, she don't really look that big. But if I had somebody else take my picture,
no, we ain't do
then
that.
You're like, oh yeah. Yeah. Because I went back, I was like, oh, I said, I look cute with that little Snapchat filter. You can't really tell. Snapchat kind of brought it in a little bit. But then when the real camera was flashing, I said, oh, sis.
Oh, I'm laughing because y'all, matter of fact, that picture still exists as far as on my account. I leave it up because I use it as a before and after. But that picture, like where I have on the blue shirt and the jeans, and I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, that was back in 2013. I don't even think filters even existed back then. And somebody else took that picture. I had no control over that, none whatsoever. So here go my big blue behind, as a matter of fact. I couldn't hide from that no more. It was like, oh my God, Bobby, who are you? It got that bad. It got that bad. And there wasn't no filters back then at all, period. You just take this picture, snap, there it is.
Them old school Polaroid type, the little with the little white around it. Shit, them pictures were so honest.
But see, I was smaller back then.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was like, you know, I was that former athlete, and it was like, okay, former athlete, go work out, I could do that 5 to 6, 7 miles, and then it was like, damn, it was like Goodyear blimp tip coming out, right? And I'm like, dang, you know. But even it was so funny because I talked to a family, and I was like, how y'all let me get this big? Like, how do y'all really let me get this big? And they look at me and they say, you know what? Because we saw you every day. We just, you know, we embrace you, we love you. We just didn't realize. But when I do my comparison, we're like, we all around the house, like, you know, I couldn't see. I had the major double chin. I mean, now I could feel like, I was like, oh, I feel some bone right here. Before I didn't feel all that. I was like, it was fat. I was like, wait a minute.
Like we wasn't fat like pH. We was
no, girl, we were FAT.
Yeah. No, it wasn't no fat.
It wasn't no, we wasn't with the
yeah. And I was the king of the Dunlap. So, you know, I'm just saying that's just what it is. That hey.
You know, but it's so funny because now that we've gone through this process, do y'all ever have a problem with trying to find a before picture because all you keep finding is I can't use that picture? No. What is that? Like, I really thought I was taking pictures back in the day, and I lied because just like you said, if somebody else had the camera, I would delete that or tear the whole picture up. Just
Yeah, I had problems finding pictures. I just didn't take pictures like that.
But I think that was for me one thing that I really, that was where I started making a decision. The pain was like, whoo, okay, I got to do something. Just like Bobby said, and all three of us have had these medical life altering things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you look at the reality of it, you be like, how the world I get so big? Like, and you don't even realize that while you're in it. You in it. Yeah. Like, I'm going to eat. But y'all, today I got to do a praise report. I'm so sorry. I know I'm deviating. Child, I said no to Starbucks. That is something I am just learning.
Come on now.
Ooh, good. Wow. First of all, did y'all know that one of them little caramel ribbon frappa?
Oh, it's high, very high in calories and sodium.
600-700 Yo, when you actually start looking at what you used to eat, that was another turning point. One day I actually sat down. This was around the time when I first started TLC. I actually did a calorie count of what I used to eat. I used to get a Mountain Dew and a honey bun every morning at work. I then would go and eat like probably 2,000 calories for lunch. My Lord. And then most of the time I would eat late, and I would eat bad and late. So I would get a cheesesteak sub with fries. And I think I was eating like 4,000 to 4,500, 5,000 calories a day.
Oh,
wow.
Like, I think when the light bulb goes off, then it's like you start seeing all these things. And that was one of the things that made me really make a decision, because it was like the blinders fully came off. It wasn't that I was just in pain. I started noticing, Tiffany, my clothes didn't fit.
Yeah.
When I'm in the highest number in the store, like I would be at Torrid and some of those 4s wouldn't go. And then I'm trying on a 5. Like, and then the pictures where all you got is a good side face. Because, those moments of this is what it really is. When that hit me, it was just like, wow.
What I want to do right now, because it's now 7:58, and I don't want to impede on too much time as it pertains to My Health Matters. But, you know, we're going to continue these conversations. These roundtables, they need to happen once a month. I like the difference as far as the questions are concerned. Of course, you know, life happens, and we had other individuals that were supposed to be on with us today, but they'll be on the next time. So there's no concern. But I am so grateful that we had, you know, these individuals the professor. I call her the professor now because she's teaching school.
Okay.
And then Tiff, the business extraordinaire. So I appreciate you ladies. But before I get off the air, I do want to make an announcement about our guest that's coming next week. Well, I could say something. I'll just let the pictures do the talking. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your screen is not playing games with you. Mr. Jack Fallon, CEO, and Mr. John LeCarre, COO, will be on the Victim No More podcast next week. So, yeah, it's gonna be a different podcast. It's we going to a different place now.
Level up.
This is
Yeah.
So this is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. But I want to thank each and every guest that has come on the show thus far. We wouldn't have got to this point if you all wouldn't have happened. So I appreciate all of you, the ones that have been interviewed so far. This show is nothing without you. And the whole purpose of the show is to highlight these stories. And some of these stories have literally been forgotten. Individuals that win the transformation contest, a lot of people don't understand the process that it takes to be chosen. And these are very special stories. And so we have these conversations, and then we have guests on here that has absolutely, they haven't won a transformation contest yet, but because of the transformation that is taking place in their life, that has to be talked about. And also too, I'm just giving you a heads up. There's going to be some individuals that's coming on this podcast that's going to bring so much value, but they're not a part of Total Life Changes, because this is about serving the people. This is about helping people, not where they are, but also help them to where they're going. And so sometimes it's going to take a different voice, a different perspective, different experiences to share with people to get them to that place of victory, because we have to make that transition from being victims to victorious, period. Because when we get to victorious, then we're helping other folk who are victims make the transition as well. And that's the whole gist of this platform. So once again, I thank each and every one of you that have taken the time out. And guess what? Next week will be the 15th episode.
Yes, congratulations.
Wow. I mean, it just happened so quick. But I want to thank everyone that has viewed a podcast, whether it be 1 minute or the whole hour or whatever the case may be. I thank you. And of course, whoever is looking at it today, please share this podcast, because next week we are going into an entirely different place. So yeah, it's going to be promoted. It's going to be promoted well, because it's going to be an amazing podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast now. Once again, ladies, thank you for joining me on this roundtable. And as a matter, this roundtable is really Gwen's. The professor.
This is all King Bobby, and we thank you as guests. Like, you didn't have to, first of all, say yes to this. So we thank you so much, because for me, it's just really just trying to do what we need to do to inspire others. And we thank you so much for this platform and for creating this. So
yes, I thank you both. I thank you both for allowing me to be on this platform with both of you. So thank you.
I love you too.
Love you.
Love y'all. All right, folks.
Peace. Bye.
Until next week, y'all be blessed. And remember, I love each and every one of you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
like this. I like this.